Jisoo sat at her small desk, staring at the letter in her hands. The paper was not from Earth. It was too smooth, too light, and had a faint blue glow in the dark. The symbol at the top, 3 stars inside a circle, was known across all worlds. The Galactic Academy of Sciences had sent her a letter. "Mom, Dad, come here," Jisoo called, her voice shaking. Her parents rushed into the room. They lived in a simple apartment in Seoul. Her father fixed machines for work. Her mother taught young children. They were good people who worked hard, but they were not famous or rich. "What is it?" her mother asked, worry clear on her face. Jisoo held up the letter. "The Academy sent this to me." Her father's eyes grew wide. He knew what this meant. Everyone did. The Academy was the greatest school in all the known space. The aliens who ran it, the Eldari, were the smartest beings in the galaxy. They had been exploring space when humans were still living in caves. "How?" "Why you?" her father asked. He did not mean to sound rude. He was just surprised. Jisoo shook her head. "I don't know." She opened the letter and read it out loud. To Jisoo, Kim of Earth. Your mind has shown patterns of interest to the Academy. You are invited to join us for testing. 1 human is chosen each 10 years. If you pass, you will learn the true secrets of the universe. If you fail, you will return home with honor for having tried. You have 3 days to decide. Her mother sat down hard on the bed. The Academy. My daughter. Everyone knew the stories. Humans rarely did well at the Academy. Most came back changed. Some did not come back at all. The aliens thought in ways humans could not understand. Their tests broke human minds sometimes. "You can't go," her mother said. "It's too dangerous." Jisoo looked at the letter again. She had always been different. In school, she solved problems in ways her teachers had never seen. She saw patterns others missed. She dreamed of stars and numbers and strange shapes that made sense only to her. "I have to go," Jisoo said quietly. "This is my only chance." Her father put his hand on her shoulder. "The Academy does not pick people for no reason. They must see something special in you." That night, Jisoo could not sleep. She looked out her window at the stars. Since aliens had contacted Earth 20 years ago, humans had learned how small they were in the universe. Other species had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. They had machines that could think, ships that could bend space, and knowledge that made Earth's greatest scientists seem like children. The Academy was their greatest place of learning. And now, for some reason, they wanted her. In the morning, Jisoo sent her answer. Yes. 3 days later, a ship came for her. It was small but elegant, with smooth sides that changed color in the sunlight. An Eldari stepped out to meet her. Was tall and thin with pale blue skin and eyes that seemed too large. He wore simple white clothes with the Academy symbol. "Jisoo Kim," he said, his voice musical and strange. "I am Tarek. I will take you to the Academy." Her parents hugged her, tightly. Her mother was crying. "Remember who you are," her father whispered. "No matter what they say, humans are special too." Jisoo nodded and picked up her small bag. She had packed only a few things, some clothes, a photo of her family, and a small robot toy her father had made for her when she was a child. As she walked toward the ship, Tarek spoke again. "The Academy has tested 42,361 species over its history. Each brings something unique. We are curious to see what you will bring." Jisoo took a deep breath and stepped into the ship. The door closed behind her with a soft hiss. Through the window, she watched Earth grow smaller until it was just another blue dot in the blackness of space. Her test had already begun. After 7 days in space, Jisoo saw the Academy for the first time. It was not a planet or a moon. It was a huge ring floating in empty space. The ring was so big that Jisoo could not see where it ended. Thousands of ships moved around it like bees around a flower. "That is the Academy," Tarek said. His blue face showed no emotion. It is home to 1 million students from 10,000 worlds. Jisoo pressed her face to the window. The academy ring had tall buildings all along its inside curve. In the center was open space with green parks and blue lakes. The whole thing spun slowly to create gravity. It's beautiful, Jisoo whispered. Tarek nodded. It was built 5,000 years ago. Your people were still making stone tools then. The ship docked at a small port. When Jisoo stepped out, the air felt strange in her lungs. It was cleaner than Earth air with a sweet smell she did not know. The air mix is set for all oxygen breathers, Tarek explained. You may feel more awake than normal. Jisoo followed him through long halls made of white stone. Everywhere she looked, she saw aliens. Some had many arms. Some floated instead of walked. Some were so strange she could not tell their front from their back. All of them wore the same white clothes, with the academy symbol. None of them looked at her. It was as if she did not exist. Why do they ignore me? Jisoo asked. Humans are not well thought of here, Tarek said carefully. Your kind has only been space traveling for 20 years. Most species here have been traveling the stars for thousands of years. They came to a small room with 2 beds. One side of the room was neat and clean. The other had pictures and strange objects on the walls. You will share this room with Daeho. He is also from Earth. He has been here 5 years. Tarek moved to the door. Rest now. Testing begins tomorrow. When Tarek left, Jisoo sat on her bed. The room felt cold and strange. She missed her parents and the warm sounds of Seoul. She took out the photo of her family and put it on the small table next to her bed. The door opened and a young man walked in. He was tall and thin with short black hair. He wore the white academy clothes, but his had the symbol in a different color, green instead of blue. You must be Jisoo, he said in Korean. I'm Daeho. Jisoo stood up quickly. You're Korean too. Daeho smiled, but his eyes looked sad. Yes, I was selected 5 years ago, just like you. Did you pass the tests? Jisoo asked. The smile left Daeho's face. No. I failed the final test. Now I work as a helper here. I clean labs and carry things for the real students. He sat on his bed and looked closely at Jisoo. Why did they pick you? What can you do? Jisoo shrugged. I don't know. I'm good at math and patterns. I see connections others don't. Daeho laughed, but it was not a happy sound. That's not enough. The Eldari can do math problems in their sleep that would take our best computers years to solve. He leaned closer. Listen to me. The Academy doesn't want humans to succeed. The tests aren't fair. They're designed to prove we're stupid. But why invite us at all then? Jisoo asked. To study us. To them, we're just another interesting animal. Daeho pointed to his green symbol. This marks me as a failed student. The aliens can give me any job they want. I have no choices here. Jisoo felt cold fear in her stomach. Can I go home? You can try. But once you're here, the Academy rarely lets anyone leave until testing is complete. Daeho's face softened. I'm sorry, I shouldn't scare you. Maybe you'll do better than me. He stood up and walked to the door. I have work to do. Tomorrow they'll take you to the testing center. Prepare yourself. What you'll see there will change how you think about everything. When he left, Jisoo lay on her bed staring at the white ceiling. The Academy didn't seem wonderful anymore. It felt like a trap. But she remembered her father's words. Remember who you are. Humans are special too. I'll show them, she whispered to herself. I'll pass their tests. Outside her window, strange stars shone in a sky that wasn't Earth's. Jisoo woke to a soft beeping sound. A small light on her wall flashed blue. Time to get up, said Daeho from the other bed. That's the call for testing. Jisoo dressed quickly in the white academy clothes left for her. Her stomach felt tight, with worry. What should I expect? She asked. They start with basic tests, Daeho said. But remember, basic to them is not basic to us. A tall Eldari female waited outside their door. She had the same blue skin as Tarek, but her eyes were golden. Jisoo Kim, I am Professor Kiri. I will guide your initial testing. Her voice was cool and flat. Follow me. The testing room was large and round with white walls. In the center sat 20 chairs in a circle, each facing a floating screen. Most chairs were already filled with aliens of different shapes and sizes. Sit. Professor Kiri pointed to an empty chair. Jisoo sat down nervously. The aliens around her were strange. One looked like a big insect. Another was made of what seemed like moving water. None looked at her. Today we test pattern recognition, Professor Kiri announced. The test adapts to each species' abilities. The screen in front of Jisoo lit up. It showed a series of shapes that moved and changed color. Jisoo had to predict what would come next. The first few were easy. Then they got harder. Much harder. Jisoo's forehead wrinkled as she concentrated. The patterns became more complex, with shapes that seemed to fold in ways that shouldn't be possible. Some patterns used colors she had never seen before. The alien, that looked like an insect, finished first. It made a clicking sound that might have been laughter. Humans are so slow, it said in perfect English. Jisoo ignored it. She focused harder. Something about the pattern seemed familiar, like a song she had heard before but couldn't quite remember. Then she saw it. The pattern wasn't just about the shapes. It was about the spaces between them. The empty spots formed their own pattern. Jisoo began working faster. Her fingers flew across the screen as she selected answers. She finished just as time was called. Professor Kiri looked at Jisoo's screen with surprise. You completed all 100 levels. Is that good? Jisoo asked. Most new students complete 60 to 70 levels, Professor Kiri said. No human has ever completed more than 82. The insect alien made an angry clicking noise. The other aliens stared at Jisoo, now their eyes, or what seemed like eyes, cold and curious. The human got lucky, said a tall, thin alien with gray skin. The pattern test is primitive. Let's see how she does with multidimensional mathematics. The next test was much harder. Jisoo had to solve equations that used shapes instead of numbers. The problem seemed to exist in more dimensions than she could see. Jisoo struggled. Her head began to hurt. By the end of the test, she had only completed half of the problems. Professor Kiri looked at her screen. 48% correct. Below average, but higher than any human before. See? Primitive, said the gray alien. As they left the testing room, Professor Kiri pulled Jisoo aside. You approach problems differently than others, she said. Most students follow the standard methods. You found a new path in the pattern test. I just saw what was there, Jisoo said. Perhaps. Professor Kiri's golden eyes studied Jisoo carefully. Or perhaps you saw what wasn't there. That is unusual. Jisoo returned to her room, tired and confused. Daeho was waiting. How did it go? He asked. I did well on patterns, bad on math, Jisoo said. Professor Kiri seemed surprised. Daeho raised his eyebrows. Kiri, she's the head of cognitive studies. She never works with new students, especially humans. She said I solve problems differently. Be careful, Daeho warned. Being different here isn't always good. The Academy likes minds that fit their models. Minds they can understand. Jisoo nodded, but inside she felt a small spark of hope. Being different had always been her problem on Earth. Maybe here it could be her strength. That night, she dreamed of patterns that moved like living things, shapes that spoke to her in voices made of light. 3 weeks passed. Each day, Jisoo took more tests. Some were easy, some were hard, but she kept trying her best. She scored high in creative thinking and problem-solving tests. She did poorly in the tests about space math and alien languages. 1 morning, Tarek came to her room instead of Professor Kiri. The Academy Board wishes to see you, he said. Jisoo felt her heart beat faster. Did I do something wrong? No. You have done something unexpected. Tarek led Jisoo to a large room with a round table. 12 Eldari sat there, all with blue skin, but with eyes of different colors. Professor Kiri was among them, Ji-Soo Kim of Earth, said an older Eldari with silver hair. I am Director Elar. You have completed the first stage of testing with unusual results. Ji-Soo stood straight, trying to look brave. What does that mean? It means, said Professor Curie, that you have qualified for advanced testing. Only 2 humans before you have reached this level. Director Elar nodded. The next phase uses our Neural Quantum Interface, the NQI. It connects directly to your mind to test abilities that cannot be measured with standard methods. Ji-Soo didn't understand. It connects to my mind? How? Professor Curie stood and led Ji-Soo to a window. Below was a room with a single chair in the center. Around the chair was a ring of silver machines that hummed with blue light. The NQI creates a field that can read and interact with conscious thought, Professor Curie explained. It is the most advanced technology in the Academy. Is it safe? Ji-Soo asked. The Eldari looked at each other. Director Elar spoke carefully. For most species, yes. For humans, there have been difficulties. What kind of difficulties? The previous humans who tried the NQI suffered mental stress, said an Eldari with red eyes. They could not complete the testing. Ji-Soo understood what they were not saying. The machine had hurt the other humans' minds. You may decline, Director Elar said. You would still rank higher than most humans who have come to the Academy. Ji-Soo thought about it. She could go home now with some honor. Her parents would be happy to see her safe. But she remembered the way the alien students had laughed at her. She thought of Daeho, stuck here as a helper because he had failed. She thought of Earth, still so new to space travel, trying to find its place among the stars. I will try the NQI, she said. When Ji-Soo returned to her room, Daeho was waiting. His face went pale when she told him about the NQI. You can't, he shouted. That's what broke me. What do you mean? Ji-Soo asked. Daeho's hands shook. The NQI was my final test. It showed me things. Thoughts that weren't mine. I felt like I was drowning in other minds. When it was over, I couldn't remember how to do simple math. I couldn't even write my name for days. He grabbed Ji-Soo's shoulders. The machine isn't designed for human minds. We think differently than the aliens. The NQI tries to force our thoughts into their patterns. Ji-Soo felt cold fear in her stomach again. Why didn't they tell me this? Because they need to study us. To them, we're just test animals. Daeho's eyes were wet with tears. Please, Ji-Soo, don't do it. Ji-Soo sat on her bed thinking hard. If she quit now, the aliens would say humans were too weak, too primitive. But if she tried the NQI and failed, she might lose her mind. That night, Professor Curie came to see her. You're afraid, she said. It wasn't a question. Yes, Ji-Soo admitted. Fear is wise sometimes. Professor Curie sat beside her. But I have studied your test results. Your mind works differently than the other humans we tested. You see patterns. Where others see chaos, you might succeed where they failed. Or I might break like they did, Ji-Soo said. Professor Curie was quiet for a moment. Yes, that is possible. The choice is yours. After the professor left, Ji-Soo stared out her window at the strange stars. Tomorrow, she would either make history for Earth or become another failed experiment. She made her decision. Morning came. Ji-Soo had made her choice. She would try the NQI. 4 Eldari technicians led her to the testing room. They wore special gloves that glowed blue at the fingertips. Sit here, one said, pointing to the chair in the center of the room. Ji-Soo sat down. The chair was cold metal, but it shaped itself to fit her body perfectly. Above her head hung a silver ring that hummed softly. The test will last 20 minutes, a technician explained. You will see images and feel sensations. Do not fight them. Let them flow through your mind. What am I supposed to do? Ji-Soo asked. Just experience. The NQI will do the rest. The technicians left the room. Only Professor Curie remained, watching from behind a glass wall. She nodded to Ji-Soo. The silver ring lowered until it was just above Ji-Soo's head. It began to spin faster and faster until it was just a blur. Blue light filled the room. Suddenly, Jisoo wasn't in the chair anymore. She floated in empty space. Stars burned all around her. She felt no fear, only wonder. A voice spoke, not in her ears but directly in her mind. Begin sequence. The stars changed. They formed patterns, then broke apart. Numbers appeared, floating in space. Equations built themselves, then solved themselves. Jisoo watched, trying to understand. Then something strange happened. The patterns began to repeat, but Jisoo saw they could fit together in different ways. When a star pattern formed a square, she saw it could also form a circle. When the numbers lined up in order, she saw they could also form a spiral. Without thinking, Jisoo reached out with her mind. She touched the patterns, rearranged them. She built new forms from the pieces she was shown. The voice in her mind seemed surprised. Subject is altering test parameters. Adjusting. The space around Jisoo changed. Now she stood in a library with endless shelves. Books floated past her. Each time one opened, knowledge poured out like water. Jisoo felt her mind filling with strange ideas and alien concepts. But again, she didn't just accept what she was shown. She questioned it. She connected new ideas with things she already knew. When a book showed her an alien way to count, she compared it to Earth math. Subject is creating new neural pathways. This is unexpected. The library disappeared. Now Jisoo faced a wall of light that changed colors faster than she could name them. Each color was a thought, an idea, a feeling from an alien mind. Most students simply observed the colors. Jisoo did something different. She began to mix the colors in her mind, creating new shades that weren't there before. Warning: subject is generating feedback in the system. The wall of light began to pulse. The voice sounded worried now. Neural patterns exceeding expected parameters. System overload possible. Jisoo didn't understand what was happening. She was just thinking the way she always did, seeing connections, making new patterns. Then, with a sound like breaking glass, the NQI shut down. Jisoo was back in the chair. The silver ring had stopped spinning. One side of it glowed red hot. Smoke rose from a nearby machine. The technicians rushed into the room, their faces showing shock and worry. They checked the machines, talking quickly in their own language. Professor Kiri came to Jisoo's side. "Are you well? Do you feel pain?" Jisoo shook her head. "I feel fine. What happened?" "You..." Professor Kiri seemed to struggle for words. "You did not use the NQI the way it was designed to be used. Did I break it?" Jisoo asked, worried. "Not exactly. You overloaded one of the neural processors." Professor Kiri's golden eyes were wide with surprise. "The machine expected you to receive information. Instead, you created new information." One of the technicians approached, looking angry. The human damaged equipment worth more than her entire planet's economy. "No," Professor Kiri said firmly. "The equipment failed to accommodate a type of thinking it was not designed for." She turned to Jisoo. "Your mind works differently than we expected. You don't just see patterns, you create them." Jisoo didn't understand why this was so important. "Isn't that what thinking is?" Professor Kiri almost smiled. "Perhaps for humans. For us, it is something new." News of what Jisoo did to the NQI spread quickly through the academy. Some students looked at her with new interest. Others stayed far away, as if she carried a disease. "They're afraid of you now," Daeho told her in their room. "No one has ever broken the NQI before." "I didn't break it," Jisoo said. "I just used it differently." "That's worse in their view. Machines should work the same for everyone." Daeho smiled. "But you made this one work differently." The next day, Director Elar called a meeting of the Academy Board. Jisoo stood before them, feeling very small. "We have reviewed the data from your NQI session," Director Elar said. His voice was cold. "Some board members believe we should stop your testing. An Eldari with green eyes nodded. The human mind is too unpredictable. She might cause permanent damage to our equipment. That would be a mistake, Professor Curie argued. Jisoo has shown us something important. Her mind creates new neural pathways when faced with problems. This is rare and valuable. It is chaotic and dangerous, said the green-eyed Eldari. Jisoo listened to them argue about her as if she wasn't there. They talked about human brains like they were broken machines. That didn't follow the right rules. Finally, Jisoo spoke up. May I say something? The room went quiet. Students never spoke at board meetings unless asked a direct question. Director Alar seemed surprised but nodded. You may speak. You keep saying I think wrong, Jisoo said. But maybe I just think different. Different isn't always wrong. The board members looked at each other. Some seemed angry, but Professor Curie was hiding a smile. The NQI is designed to test minds, Jisoo continued. But it only tests minds that work like yours. That doesn't seem fair. Fairness is not relevant, said the green-eyed Eldari. The universe favors certain types of thinking. Logical, ordered, thinking. Then why did you invite humans to the academy at all? Jisoo asked. You knew we think differently. Director Alar was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, The vote is 6-6. As director, I break the tie. The testing will continue, but with stronger safeguards. 2 days later, Jisoo returned to the NQI room. The machines had been fixed and more had been added. 6 technicians watched carefully instead of 4. We will try a more structured test today, Professor Curie explained. Focus on the problems presented, not on changing them. The silver ring lowered again. Blue light filled the room. This time, Jisoo found herself facing a wall covered in symbols. It was an equation, but unlike any she had seen before. The symbols moved and changed, flowing like water. The voice in her mind spoke. This is the Tarkin equation. It has no solution. Observe and analyze the patterns. Jisoo studied the equation. The symbols danced and shifted, never settling into a form that could be solved. Most students, she guessed, would watch the beautiful patterns and learn from them. But Jisoo did something else. Instead of accepting that the equation had no solution, she questioned why people thought it couldn't be solved. She noticed something strange. The equation itself kept changing because the rules behind it kept changing. To solve it, you would need rules that could change too. Without meaning to, Jisoo's mind began to create a new kind of math, one where the rules could bend and flex. She didn't find a solution to the equation, she changed how equations worked. The Dio voice in her mind sounded alarmed. Subject is altering fundamental parameters. System integrity at risk. The equation wall began to flicker. Parts of it froze, then shattered like glass. Emergency shutdown initiated. Jisoo returned to the chair. This time 3 machines were smoking. Alarms rang throughout the room. What did you do? A technician shouted at her. Professor Curie rushed in. Jisoo, are you all right? Jisoo nodded, confused. I didn't try to break anything. They showed me a problem with no answer, so I questioned the problem itself. Professor Curie helped. Jisoo stand. That's exactly what worried them and what interests me so much. When our minds hit a wall, we accept the wall is there. Your mind asks why the wall exists at all. As technicians rushed around trying to fix the machines, Director Alar watched from the doorway. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes never left Jisoo. The academy had never seen a mind like hers before, and it didn't know what to do about it. After the second NQI test, the academy put Jisoo's testing on hold. For 3 days she sat in her room waiting for news. Daeho was busy with his work and rarely came back to their room. On the 4th day, Daeho burst through the door. His face was pale and he was breathing hard. I found something, he whispered, checking to make sure no one was listening, about the other humans who came here before you. What about them? Jisoo asked. Daeho pulled out a small square device. This is a data key. I borrowed it from Professor Curie's lab while cleaning. He placed it on the table between their beds. A hologram appeared in the air, showing files with strange symbols. I can't read that, Jisoo said. I learned some Eldari writing during my 5 years here. Daeho touched one file. This has records of all human testing. The hologram. Changed to show faces of humans, 20 of them. Under each face were graphs and numbers. Look at this one. Daeho pointed to a woman with short black hair. Minji Park. She was here 8 years ago. The records say she failed all tests and was sent home. So? But look at her NQI results. Daeho enlarged part of the file. She did what you did. She changed the tests, made new connections, broke the machines. Jisoo leaned closer. What happened to her? Daeho's voice dropped lower. They wiped her memory of the academy and sent her back to Earth. They made her forget everything she learned here. Why would they do that? There's more. Daeho showed 3 more files of humans. Each had similar results with the NQI. Each was memory wiped before being sent home. This is their secret, Daeho said. Some humans don't fail the tests. They break them. And that scares the Eldari. Jisoo felt cold. Are they going to wipe my memory too? Before Daeho could answer, their door opened. Professor Kiri stood there with 2 academy guards. Daeho Kim, you have stolen academy property, she said. Her voice was cold. That is a serious crime. The guards took Daeho's arms. He didn't fight them but looked at Jisoo with sad eyes. Tell her the truth, he shouted as they pulled him away. Tell her what you do to humans who think too well. When they were gone, Professor Kiri picked up the data key. You should not have seen these files. Is it true? Jisoo asked. Did those other humans break the NQI too? Did you wipe their memories? Professor Kiri sat down on Daeho's bed. For a long time she was quiet. Then she said, Yes, it is true. Why? Fear. Professor Kiri's golden eyes looked tired. The Eldari have been the most advanced species in the known galaxy for 10,000 years. Our minds follow clear patterns. We think in straight lines, she pointed to Jisoo's head. But human minds, they jump and twist. They make connections we would never see. Some on the board fear what that could mean for the future. So you erase our memories? Make us forget what we can do? Professor Kiri nodded. Most of the board believes it is necessary. Human minds are too unpredictable, too dangerous if they realize their full potential. And what do you believe? Jisoo asked. I believe the galaxy needs new kinds of thinking. Professor Kiri stood up. There is a small group of us who think the Eldari have stopped growing. We've been the smartest for so long that we've stopped learning. She walked to the door. Tomorrow, you will face your final test, the Central Academy Mind. It is the most powerful computer in the galaxy. No human has ever connected to it before. And if I break it too? Then either you will lose your memories, Professor Kiri said, or you will change the academy forever. After she left, Jisoo sat alone in the quiet room. She thought of Earth, so small in the vastness of space. She thought of humans, just beginning their journey among the stars. Tomorrow, her mind would either be erased, or she would make history. Morning came too quickly. Jisoo had barely slept. She kept thinking about the other humans who had their memories wiped clean, sent home without knowing what they had learned or what they could do. Guards came to her room early. They took her to a part of the academy she had never seen before. Deep below the main level, they entered a large round chamber. In the center stood a huge silver sphere that glowed with soft blue light. Around it were 50 Eldari, all wearing special white robes with gold symbols. The entire academy board was there, including Director Elar and Professor Kiri. Jisoo Kim of Earth, Director Elar's voice echoed in the chamber. You stand before the Central Academy Mind, the combined knowledge of 10,000 years and 10,000 worlds. Jisoo looked at the giant sphere. It hummed with power. No human has ever connected to the Central Mind, Director Elar continued. The risk was considered too great, but your results with the NQI have changed our thinking. Professor Kiri stepped forward. The central mind will not just test what you know, it will test how you think, the very structure of your consciousness. What am I supposed to do? Jisoo asked. Simply experience, Professor Curie said. Like with the NQI, but much deeper. Two technicians led Jisoo to a small platform in front of the sphere. They placed a thin silver band around her head. This will focus your thoughts, one said. Do not resist the connection. Jisoo took a deep breath. She thought of her parents back on Earth. She thought of Daeho, taken away for trying to help her. She thought of all the humans who came before her, their memories stolen because they thought too differently. I'm ready, she said. The technician stepped back. The silver band on Jisoo's head began to warm. The blue light from the sphere grew brighter, surrounding her. Then suddenly she was somewhere else. Jisoo stood in an endless white space. Before her was a shape that kept changing, sometimes a pyramid, sometimes a cube, sometimes a shape she had no name for. I am the central mind, a voice said. It seemed to come from everywhere. I will evaluate your cognitive structure. Images began to appear around Jisoo, stars, planets, strange animals, complex machines. Facts and figures floated past her. The history of 1,000 worlds played out like movies on every side. But Jisoo noticed something odd. All the information was organized in the same way, neat, ordered, logical. Everything followed rules that never changed. The central mind was testing her, waiting to see how she processed information. But instead of just absorbing what it showed her, Jisoo began to explore the mind itself. She sensed its structure, its patterns of thought. It was incredibly powerful, but also rigid. It could think in a million ways, but all those ways followed the same basic rules. Subject is deviating from evaluation protocols, the voice said. Return to standard cognitive pathways. But Jisoo didn't go back to being tested. Instead, her mind pushed forward, exploring how the central mind worked. She saw that it expected all intelligent beings to think in certain ways. It had no room for minds that jumped between ideas or made unexpected connections. In that moment, Jisoo understood. The central mind wasn't just testing her, it was trying to make her think like it did. No, Jisoo said. I won't think your way. My way is different, but it's not wrong. She began to create new patterns in the white space. Swirling, changing, shapes that followed no single rule. She mixed ideas that the central mind kept separate. She questioned facts that the mind accepted as absolute truth. Error. Subject is generating invalid cognitive structures. The voice sounded confused now. System instability detected. The white space began to flicker. The shapes around Jisoo started to break apart. Critical error. Human neural patterns incompatible with core processing. The central mind was trying to force Jisoo's thoughts into its patterns, but her mind kept slipping free. Kept making connections the machine couldn't understand. Something had to give. With a sound like thunder, the white space shattered. Jisoo fell to her knees on the platform. The silver band around her head had split in two. The great sphere was dark, its blue light gone. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Central Academy mind had shut down completely. In the sudden silence, Professor Curie's voice was very quiet. She did it, she whispered. She broke the unbreakable.